A very good evening, everyone, to a very special episode of ShaliniSays Wine Shine Quarantine, your one and only source of the interesting life of women achievers. This is what they say in the Upper East Side, the best Friday evening ever. Yes, you're getting it. You're getting it. You can see Kelly right there, and you know what I'm talking about. It's XOXO Gossip Girl, and she's here with me today. I'm so lucky, so lucky. I know you all are envying me, and all I can say is that this lady needs no introduction. However, I would like to say that Women on Top stands for Women Empowering Women. And today, Kelly is here to empower me, and I cannot say anything but gratitude to her for being here, a woman of grace, poise, style, and substance. Kelly Rutherford for everybody, but Lily Vanderwoodson for me, always my hero. Kelly, welcome on the show.
Hi, how are you? It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you. Thank you for doing this. This means so much to me, so much to me.
Thank
I'm
you so
super
much.
excited, super excited.
Yeah.
So, normally I'm known to be one of those people who can take a mic and just start speaking without a script, without anything.
It's a talent. It really is a huge talent. I don't have that one. Although you never know until someone gives you a mic what you can do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're very good at it.
But today I have to tell you, I actually wrote down every question because I said the minute I'm going to be in front of you, I'm so excited that you're here and you've been my hero for however long that I've known you. I mean, known you in Gossip Girl, as they say.
So fun. It's so
Uh, Great. So, Kelly, I'm going to start with the very first question, which is everybody's question, because I think all of us, as little girls, that stood in front of the mirror and always acted and dreamt of being an actress. And I think rehearsed that speech of getting the Oscar and, that whole story. So, I want to know your story from, I think it started with Melrose Place, Gossip Girl, and Dynasty now. From each award-winning show to another. It's like they've all been the best shows ever. So tell us your story.
Um, my gosh, my story. I just love what I do. I think so much of everything and certainly endurance in any business is really a passion for what you do and loving what you do and working with the people you work with, and I think having a lot of gratitude about it, because I feel a lot of gratitude for the work I've done and I've been able to do, and the people I've worked with, um, and the opportunities I've had. I mean, I've definitely shown up. I've definitely worked hard, and started when I was really young. Like, I started when I was about 17. I moved to New York to study acting, and then started working. And then just steadily built. This is 30 years of doing this, so it's been a long time. I'm about 51 now, so it's been many years of working. And so you go through times where you're working a lot or you're on a hit show, and then you go through times when you're just working and doing work that you love. So I think you just have to love it.
I
Not
love
that it's always easy, but you just have to have a love for it.
yeah, I love that you love it. But do you feel all the anxieties being a super actress and being a recognized face? Does it come easy, or do you have to work just as hard still to get to the places that you do?
Well, I think it becomes normal. It's like what's normal to you is not normal. It becomes normal. And I guess for me, I just walk around like me. I'm not, it's not like a persona I'm having to sort of, I mean, I think there's a little bit of that, like differentiating your personal life from your business. Just like when you go to an office, I mean, you're not acting necessarily like you are when you're at home on your sofa. There's a difference in how you act when you go to the office versus at home. So that's kind of the difference for me as well, is that for me, it's like going to work and going to the office is maybe more of a persona. It's not even a persona anymore. Like old Hollywood was more of a persona. Today, it's like most people show up in a baseball hat and glasses, and it's not quite as glamorous unless you're on the red carpet or something.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
nice.
I hope I answered your
You know,
question.
So, they say that we are the choices we make, and you had to make some really tough choices.
Yes.
So that's a story that, we would all love to hear, because that's what makes you the strong woman that you are. So we
Mm.
love to hear that story.
Yeah. Well, I think anytime you have, challenges in your life, you have to make choices. And I think sometimes you don't always make the best ones. You don't always know, right? Because you may be put in a new situation that you may not even have a skill set for. So it's like learning a new skill set when we're challenged, right? In any way. Um, and so you make mistakes and then you figure it out as you go. And of course, hindsight's 2020, and you think, oh gosh, I could have just done that and that would have been much better. But that's not always how life works, right? We fumble, we stumble, we catch ourselves. And so, you just, I think a lot of the lessons learned are of letting go, because you can't control everything. And I think when you find yourself in situations that are challenging or that feel beyond your control, which, we all have at times, is kind of letting go and creating space for the universe or whatever to come in and realign things in a way that is best, you know. So a lot of it's learning to trust yourself, which happens with time and age and experience, and learning to know it's okay to let it go, to let things go for a while until the answers come. Because it's like, the computer, when it's going round and round, it's because there's just too much information going on. So it's kind of like we get that way emotionally, I think, sometimes, where we're just, there's so much going on that how are you even going to make a clear decision, right? So you have to get quiet, you have to let go, you have to say, okay, I don't, and allow yourself to be guided, and create space for the answers to come, to create space for things to realign.
I think acceptance. I think it's acceptance eventually, which is you've just accepted the way it is at this
Yes,
point in time till things are different, I think. So
that's a
it's
really good way to put it.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you said this in Gossip Girl, the more you hide yourself away, the more you have to hide. And you believe that obviously in Gossip Girl you say that. But do you think that if you were not a public figure, things would have been different for you? How things turned out in your life? Do you think it would have been different? The
I don't know. I think it's just the way it is at this present moment with what's going on in the world. Do you know what I mean? I think that we've moved away from just sometimes a very common sense approach. I think things have turned into big business. There's a lot of money being made in different systems. That it doesn't even matter. It's just money. It's not about the thing that it's about. So, I think it's just realizing that, that these systems that have been in place for a very long time are now being reevaluated, because maybe they've gotten out of balance. They've gotten out of balance. There's a very common sense approach to life, and that you don't need 500 experts to tell you. But now we've got 500 experts telling us everything about everything in every aspect of our lives. When really, it comes back to a basic, either primal or common sense or whatever, view on life. And, we've just gotten away from that. We've gotten away from, in many ways, the family and the family unit. We've, and a lot, and that's a bigger conversation, but part of that is just, that's been set up that way. There's a lot of polarity going on in the world right now. So, but we live we come in to a world of polarity, right? That's why we come in and to have this human experience, is to have many preferences, and we know that by extremes.
Yes. But I think watching your story and watching everything unfold, you've been an inspiration to a lot of women. And thank you for that, because I actually had a lot of women walk up to me yesterday and tell me that I must convey to you that you've been such an inspiration, and they've had a learning from the choices you've made and how you've handled it in such a dignified manner, everything that you've had to deal with. So kudos to that. I want to ask you that what is the situation right now? How is the media and entertainment industry impacted? Are you back to shooting? What's the new way of doing it? What's the new normal?
I don't even know yet. Like, I've heard things. I mean, it's so new. I've heard that things are starting to pick up and film, like in Canada and LA, New York. They're starting to go back to work. I don't know what the whole protocol is exactly. I know a friend of mine went to work in excuse me. I think he's in Vancouver or Toronto, but he had to quarantine a bit, But this was like a month or two ago. I don't know if now it's still, I think it's all changing so fast. I'm not sure about movie theaters and how that's going to work. But again, I think everything's going to look different. My industry is going to look different. A lot of things are going to look different going forward. So, but it is good to know that things are starting to pick up. I mean, I'm pitching a show next week. So, I mean, they're listening to pitches. There's, people are going back to filming. So that's good.
Oh, good. So you think that you would be filming soon?
I hope so.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
these things are very important because people sitting there at this point don't know what is going to happen, what to do. So just to hear someone like you saying, "I think so, I hope so," is a good positive start. At least
Yeah. No, I've just heard things are going back. People are going back to work and things are picking up. So that's a good sign.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you're a strong, assertive, somewhat controlling mom in Gossip Girl. How are you in real life? And a word of advice for this generation, because they're hugely impacted by social media, keeping up with the Joneses, and I think it's affecting all of them mentally with the current digital circumstances. And now it's all go digital. So advice from you, and what are you as a person in real life, as a mom in real life?
Oh, okay. I think I'm much more casual. That's for sure. I'm much more casual. And I think I'm lighter. With my kids, I really, I have so much reverence for them because my belief is that, there are Buddhas. They're here to teach us. They bring in the new thing and they come in with the upgrade. We're an old operating system, whether we do the upgrades or not, or no matter how much we try to, and generation after generation has been telling us that, we try to tell our parents, look, you're the old operating system. Like, I know this seems different to you, or maybe it seems like, but so I really do my best to see that aspect. And at the same time, obviously, you want to protect your kids and do everything you can to offer up whatever it is they need to be the best they can be. So there's that balance, right? And I check in with my kids. I'm like, how am I doing? How am I doing as a mom? Because mom is so many things. I mean, and every mom is different, and their desire to be a mom and what how they were raised. So they're bringing in sort of their own modeling of how moms are. You have society telling you how to be a mom. And so it's really your own creative process of just being a human. I think at the end of the day, we forget just to be a human being, and of course, mothers do have so many more emotions going through their bodies than most.
Yeah.
And I let my kids know that. I'm like, look, you've no idea the things that go through my mind, my body, that I care so much for you. And so be patient with me. If I seem overly this or overly that, it really is pure love, coming through. So I think that's the important thing to remind our kids that, and we sometimes get caught up in, okay, you got to get here, you got to get there, you got to get your homework done, you got to get in the show, that we don't just sit in the presence of our children and see them as, and no matter what age they are, see them as divine beings, really be in their presence and really just admire them and love them and see them. Do you know what I mean? I think it was Maya Angelou who said that, there was a great video she did or quote she had about when the kids come in the room, all we're looking for is like what we can fix, because we want things so sometimes it's like not about fixing anything. It's just about being present and admiring them and being a mirror of, you are divinely guided and protected. You are a perfect human being. You are the perfect, and I don't mean perfect. I mean, you know what I mean? You are perfect exactly how you are right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I say things, it's just because, I just have to say it. And then do what you want with it,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I always tell my children that I'm not perfect because I'm happy to learn. And it's okay, And yes, I don't know. They keep correcting my pronunciation. They keep teaching me technology. In fact, they're all commenting right now. The kids are on. My husband, who's never watched a romantic show in his life, has watched Gossip Girl, sitting with both my kids. So they're commenting, see, Dad, we told you. We told you.
Yeah,
Rajiv, there's Martina, there's Daman, there's Shalini, there's Amira, there's Madhu. There's like so many of my Sujata, so many friends watching, and all of them are like, Gaga, over all the things. Thank you so much. And Mom, you're perfect. I presume maybe it's one of your kids that's saying that. Or is that my kid? One of the kids is saying that.
As long as one of us is perfect, that's good. It doesn't matter. We'll stand, we're part of a team.
There you go. So I know that you also support a lot of charities, Kelly, and especially related to children, etc. Right? I do want you to talk a little bit about that, because I think that's straight from the heart and give back.
Yeah. Well, when my kids were little, it was a time that I was in LA when they were little, and it was, everyone breastfed forever, much more natural. Everyone had a doula, I had somebody, and it was all about feeding your kids the organic food. So everything was very natural, and creating an environment in your home that was not sterile, like we sort of see, but non-toxic, like you would use non-toxic products, and sort of the natural way to raise your kids. So I got involved in that way, and a lot of more of the green movements around like kids and the environment and things like that. And then there was an organization called Step Up Women's Network that a few friends of mine had sort of started, and it was about mentoring women and really coming together and, like groups of women coming together and helping each other in business, because, ultimately that's what shifts things. We talk about feminism, we talk about things, which is important, but what really shifts things is when we come together as a community and support each other, because that's how we really build our businesses and our confidence and all of this. And we really have an impact in the world in numbers, right?
Yeah.
So that was sort of a time when I realized, oh, wow, so this is how we really shift the narrative. As we all come together, we mentor each other, and we support each other in business, Yeah. So that was a wonderful organization.
I think that's what I believe as well, that we grow through interdependence. And it's a myth that women don't support each other, because I think it's us women that actually come forward to support another woman. But you've got to be a strong woman to be able to do that. If you're confident in your skin, I think then nothing stops you from, putting that hand on everybody's back. And that's all we need. So
yeah.
Wonderful. When are you coming to Monaco? Because you should come here and speak here and inspire all the women.
I'm so inspired by the women there. My gosh, talk about strong women. I mean, and great women, everyone that I've met has been, so welcoming and just really amazing group of women there.
Well, we can't wait to have you back here. So do let us know. I'm going to go to the most fun section of my show, which
these are all those questions you asked that I have no idea. This is when I need my kids to help me answer. Come here, Cappuccino. You answer the questions. I'm going to have my dog answer these questions. Come here, Cappuccino. Come on, you're going to answer them.
Is he coming to answer the questions, or should I address you with the questions now?
I don't know. Go ahead. I'm not good at this stuff. Is like okay.
Let's do it. I think we're just gonna have some fun doing it.
Okay.
I'm keep it simple and easy. Your favorite brand? That's so simple.
My favorite brand?
Yeah.
I like so many. So many. My favorite brand is like a t-shirt and jeans, whatever, with a good handbag, with a nice handbag.
Oh, wow, nice.
Whatever
Okay.
brand that is. It doesn't, I mean, because
Okay.
I'm very high-low. I like, really simple things and then really nice things. So it's, I don't know. So many good brands.
That's nice. Okay. If not Hollywood, then what?
Oh gosh. Probably fashion, journalism, I mean, if writing, which I'll probably do more of.
Well, I want to tell everybody that they should follow you on Instagram because I love all the profound stuff that you keep putting up. I wake up to a nice message from you and it's really lovely. So everybody, please follow Kelly on Instagram, the one with the blue tick, not the many fans that she's got out there. Okay. This is a very important one for the people out there who are struggling trying to get there. 5 tips how to handle fame.
Oh gosh.
Humility.
Well, I mean, I don't think about it. So my top tip is just don't think about it. Don't make it a thing, right? Just be yourself. Be kind to people because they do remember. I remember I have had a couple celebrities that weren't nice, and I really remembered. So I do my best to be kind to everyone. Forget whether you're a celebrity or not or whatever. It's just, being present and saying, I don't know. Can't always do it, but I think to be kind to people. And to be I don't know. I think the biggest thing is not to think about it too much and to be yourself as much as you can. That doesn't mean we all don't have a bad day. I mean, we're human. Or it doesn't mean we aren't whatever, but my acting coach used to always say when you go to set, leave all that stuff at home. Leave all your stuff, your dramas, and it's the same as, when you go to dinner with, the best thing you can do is like kind of leave that over there and sort it out yourself. It doesn't always work. We're not always that, but I think that's the main thing.
But I think you're absolutely right because you do walk the talk. And I can say that because I've had a personal experience. Not for a second did you make me feel that you were who you were and I was just somebody else. And kudos to you for that. And thank you very much for that. So absolutely you walk the talk. I want to also, this is cheeky, your favorite dinner guest, male.
I have to say it would probably be my kids and my dogs.
Come on,
all of us together.
You're a girl.
I do. I love I'm such a homebody. Like, honestly, I love, going for really casual. I'm not a foodie. I'm not have to go to a fancy restaurant person at all.
Oh, wow.
I think because living in New York for so many years and going to events and that kind of thing, after a while, you just think, I want to be curled up, cozy, or at like a little Italian restaurant with the people I love. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So yeah, for me, that's it. I mean,
so we will organize that when you're here. Okay. Your choice of best actor, male and female.
Best actor, female, male, female. Oh yeah. Gosh. Well, I mean, God, the timeline. There's so many. I mean, I love anywhere from Catherine Deneuve to Jenna Rollins to Kate Blanchett is amazing. Kate Winslet I love too. She's such a good actress, and there's so many, right, from different eras too that I obviously love. Grace Kelly, she was amazing. There's kind of like these iconic characters, and then there's actresses like Helen Mirren to me, or Susan Sarandon. These are amazing actresses, right? Yeah. And then you have these sort of iconic figures who were beautiful actresses of their time, which is maybe a different time than now. So that's a tough question. And boys, oh my gosh. There's so many. I loved Marcello Mastroianni, all those guys, Clark Gable. They were so fun at that time. And now I think this Timothy how do you pronounce his last name? He's like a young actor.
I know.
He's so good. Look at me. I'm so bad. This is how.
I
need my. This is. But anyway, there's God, I don't know what the guys. Let me think. Obviously, everyone loves Brad Pitt. I think he's great. But Who with the boys? There's so many. It's so hard. These are
That's
so
okay. That's okay. So there are people asking you that how was it to be Serena's mom?
Oh, it was so fun. It was so fun. She's such a wonderful actress, and the character was written so well. You know, I just feel really blessed because it was just the writing was so good
Yeah.
because she was not a perfect mom, which I think is nice, and yet she wasn't afraid to say she was sorry, which I thought was probably one of her most redeeming qualities, is that even though she would screw up, she wasn't afraid to say she was sorry. And I believe that too.
Yeah.
It was really fun. And to play Ed Westwick's mom, I loved our scenes together too.
Yeah.
Chuck, you know, Charles.
So Rohan is asking that is there a difference in how the men and women are treated in the industries? Are they treated equally in the industry, you think?
You know, I've mostly worked in television. So, and I think in television, women have always, you know, there's always been pretty great roles for women in television. I think in film, maybe just because there's not as much content or had before now there is, but with Netflix and everything and all that. But it was pretty good. You know, it's been pretty good. You know, in terms of pay, I don't know. That's become more equal. I think it's getting better and better. But in my experience, it's been quite good. But then I've heard other people have had different experiences. But I think for the most part, my business has been pretty good. I mean, you have Mary Pickford, who ran a studio she started her own studio, in like the 30s or 40s, or I don't know when it was, 20s, 35. So I think she started United Artists with a couple of guys, Fairbank, one of those. So, it's possible. I think that there in our industry, it's been very possible to, yeah.
Okay, so what was your biggest fear during Melrose Place?
Biggest what?
Fear.
Fear?
Did you have any fear at all when you were like doing some show? I'm trying to ask you about each show. So in one, it's got to be fear.
Oh, okay. For me, I was excited because I had done a show for Aaron Spelling called Kindred the Embrace, which was about vampires. And then they called and said, do you want to come on to Melrose Place? And I was like, oh, wow. Because the show was already successful when I came on. So it wasn't like Gossip Girl, we didn't know, right? I mean, we hoped it would be successful, but we all kind of started it and went on the ride together. And with Melrose Place, I was excited because it was my first show that the show was already really successful. You know what I mean? So I had done a lot of pilots and a lot of series and, that did well. Let's say they got picked up and they went a season or two maybe, or 9 episodes or whatever. And I was working, so I was happy. But to get on that, I think that was just such an exciting moment because the show was, going on a show that was already established and successful. So, yeah.
But what would be your favorite quote of Gossip Girl?
There's one with, it's so early in the morning here. This is why I'm so bad. I haven't even had my coffee yet. Okay. Quote would be, I like the one with Chuck. Something like, like it or not, I love you no matter what. I'm totally paraphrasing, but like it or not, my love for you is unconditional.
That's right. I think everybody else is going to write it soon because this is one of those, the minute you Google Kelly, you find it.
Yeah, you'll see. It's a quote that people have taken, and I love it so much because it really does describe how we feel about our kids, which is like, like it or not, I'm going to love you. No matter what, you're going to go over here and do this and that. And it's good.
That's a special one. In fact, I just watched a scene of yours in Dynasty, which is very nice. You were talking to Crystal, I think, and it was a very nice scene. So a favorite memory of yours from Dynasty?
Well, I love the part where I'm, I get pregnant and I have the thing with the gay guy who's getting married. I mean, the whole thing is just so outrageous and funny. And I love the comedy aspect of Dynasty, to be able to kind of play with these characters and be so over the top. And one of the gals from Gossip Girl is doing Dynasty, the costume, and she's just Meredith. She does such an amazing job.
Yeah. But
Incredible
you're
job.
so chic. You're so chic. My God, I love you. I love you. What would you describe a perfect day in your life?
Oh, perfect day?
Yeah.
Well, oh gosh, just to get up and be with it. Really, for me, it's all just being with the people I love, or sharing with the people I love, talking to the people I love. I get up, I get my coffee, I walk my dogs, to be with my kids, or to FaceTime, whichever. To I have my list of stuff I get done in a day, so that always feels good to get some things accomplished. To it's a never-ending list, as we all know. But that list is good.
The two
We
do.
know it'll just it's never going to be all done. But and to be in nature is always, I always value that so much.
Yeah.
And and then I love when I'm working. So when I'm on a set or I'm filming, it's always a beautiful, fun thing too, to be around people and be creative and do that. And so,
Awesome.
yeah.
So Matilda has written the quote which says, "Try as you might, you don't scare me. I'm sorry to inform you that my love for you is unconditional."
Yes, I
That's,
love that quote. Thank you. Somebody got it right.
that's very good. Okay, I'm going to just put forward some questions before we go to the next one. This Amira asks, "What is your biggest learning from this COVID quarantine period?"
Mm. I probably to value what I have, to value the relationships I have with people, to value, because we're always wanting more, right? So when you kind of have to sit and get quiet and look around and go, God, I really, or clean out closets. And, I had like 2 storages full of stuff brought to my condo where I am now. And I had to sort through all this. I wanted to. This wasn't, this is something I'd been wanting to do for a long time.
Yeah.
And I was sorting through all this stuff thinking, wow, like we all have so much stuff. We just, you know what I mean? It's like we're sitting on a pot of gold and yet we're like thinking we have nothing. Like it's just such a weird mentality. So I think this sort of idea of just valuing what is has been a really, and obviously valuing our health more, and being able to travel, our freedoms.
Yeah.
I think it really to be able to value that, and appreciate it.
What's the most difficult part of being in the public eye all the time?
Oh, like okay. This might be a little bit, but it's when they take your picture and you're like going to the grocery store and you just thought nobody would see you. You just thought, I'm not even going to wear my glasses. I'm not going to brush my hair. Okay, maybe I'll brush my teeth, but I'm just running out to the market, and you put on the worst schmata. You put on the worst thing because you just are like going to clean your house whatever that day. And you're just like, oh no. And then somebody takes your picture and you're thinking, yesterday I looked so nice. Like yesterday I was out walking around and I had showered and I had actually made an effort. And then and it's like, today, this is when they get the photo. So that it's a silly thing, but it's true sometimes. I mean, just, you go, oh,
Yeah.
of all days, today but
Yeah.
it's
But
fine. If that's the biggest problem, we're good.
that's, that's also an American thing, right? You'd never see that in Monaco. It's like a fashion parade, even in the grocery store. Everybody's
I know.
dressed up from top to toe.
It's gorgeous. I love it. I love it.
So Beverly asks you, if there was one thing you could do to change the world, what would it be? One thing you could do to change the world, what would it be?
Ah, it's more about, as individuals, seeing our own radiance,
You
seeing our own light, be able to see our own light.
you say some really meaningful stuff, It really I think it hits home for a lot of people. For a lot of people.
It's just the thing. I think it's the thing. I think it's you can try to change all the outside stuff, and that's fine. And, there are good things that we can change on the outside. But I think the thing is, like, us to see that we are each, we carry we have a radiance and we have a divinity within us.
Yeah. There's one more. Look at both of us. We've gone in a trance.
You can't get too serious
Yeah,
here.
we come back.
I haven't had my coffee yet. Okay.
I know you woke up early to do this. Thanks to that. Okay, if you could play any character again, which one would you choose?
Oh gosh. You know, you ask tough questions. They seem like not tough, but they're
It's
really
the
tough
audience.
questions.
It's the audience. It's not me.
Oh, okay. Well, it's, you know, to be honest, I really, and I don't know if everyone can say this, but I've liked all of my characters.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, like Lily Woodsen would be such a fun one to continue. But I mean, even I did a read through of this Western that I did. We did it for charity on Zoom during this time. And I remember I was like, that was so fun. Briscoe County Jr., you know, playing a saloon singer in like the Wild West.
Wow.
These are just fun parts. I mean, you know, Melrose Place was fun, or there's just Homefront was another one that was set in the 40s. There are just so many. I don't know. I've really enjoyed.
I think each one has a little place in your heart, so it's very hard to say that
Thank
again.
you. You've said that. You said it perfectly. Huh?
The Gossip Girl movie now? Is there a movie?
They're doing like a new Gossip Girl show, but I think it's just like a new cast, a young cast that finds the archive of Gossip Girl. So not that I don't know of anyone of the original cast that's doing it, but.
Okay. So one last question from here, then a few of mine. If not Lily Woodsen, which Gossip Girl character would you choose to play?
I liked, well, Dorota was kind of fun. There were so many good ones, but oh gosh, Dorota was fun, and I think I loved Blair's character, but not her character, but the way she played it. I really love Leighton as an actress, and I think her choices were so good.
Yeah.
You know, I think she really did an amazing job with that role.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to play it, but that's the role that I think, and Ed Westwick, I think Chuck and Blair were just amazing. But again, I'm not going to play Chuck or Blair. I mean, but you know what I mean? It's hard to say, like, because, you know, we're not the same, whatever.
Yeah.
But those are the characters that I really loved working with and loved. Yeah.
Wow. So you use the word love a lot.
Yes.
How do you define it?
It's really, to me, an energy that we each carry. I think it's I've said this before, I think it's where we come from and it's where we're going. And we're here right now having this, you know, experience of contrast here in this time. And so love is energy to me. And the more, for me at least, the more I connect up with that energy, because if you think about it, it's such an odd thing that we're always searching for it, right? It's something in our society, and you know, love songs, and we're searching for it everywhere outside of ourselves, when really it's just seems to me, and it's my understanding, that when I get quiet and connect up with that feeling of love, you know, that I feel better. I just feel better. And so, and the more I think we can do that for ourselves and love ourselves and connect up with the energy of love, not just romantic love, I mean, just the energy of love, the better we feel. The more alkaline our body is, the softer we get, the easier our breath is. You know, it's like we're safe. It's a feeling of safety. And, you know, yeah, maybe growing up we didn't all get the perfect love, or in relation we don't get but we can connect up with that feeling and go within, and the more, that's why I said I wish we could all see our own radiance, because the more we all connect up with the love within us, I think we'll heal. You know, I think it's the healing thing that we're all looking for outside of us, but really it's about going within and saying,
beautiful.
I don't know. I'm not, I can't, it's hard to articulate, isn't it?
I think we're looking forward forever.
I just hope I'm articulating it well.
No, you are. What is your viewpoint on extramarital affairs?
On what?
on extramarital affairs?
Oh boy. Well, I think that's between each person. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I think it's like each culture has their own view on that. Each relationship has their own view on that. Look, each marriage is its own unique world, right? People marry for different reasons. They, you know, we all grow and change. It's a living thing. Marriage, relationships are constant. You know, it's not like we're going to be, okay, we're having a relationship, we're going to lock this down and it's going to be the same for the next 50 years. It's just, people aren't like that. Our spirits aren't like that. You know, we're meant to grow and change and evolve. And, you know, marriage is really about appreciation. It's about, any relationship is about appreciation. And when we stop appreciating each other and seeing each other and seeing each other's radiance and all of that, things shift. And so we look for someone else to appreciate our radiance and see our light. But again, it goes back to us seeing it for ourselves, right? So it kind of comes back to that. But because if we see it ourselves, we usually find people that reflect it. And if we don't, we're kind of waiting for someone to validate it, right? So it's a bigger conversation, but I don't judge things like that, because really everybody's in their own relationship and everyone's agreements with each other are different. And as long as that works for everyone, I mean, I'm not, but I do think it comes back to, us seeing and appreciating each other.
Oh, wonderful. So you remember Renata, we met in Renata's house. So she wants to ask you, do you like to be recognized in the streets or not?
It's funny. It's not about, again, that's a polarity, right? Like it or not. And I really, it's not about, I really appreciate people. I don't know. I love people. So I don't have, I think it's beautiful. Really. But I'm happy either way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good. Like, I just love people, and I'm very fortunate in that, most of the people that I've met or that do recognize me from a show are so nice. And I'm always like, I feel like it's a little blessing.
Oh, you're underselling yourself. You're magnetic.
It's like a blessing, though. It's like, I mean, I think I think people do like to be acknowledged for their work. Yeah. And I don't think it necessarily has to be a big acknowledgement. Yeah. And I think, yes, I appreciate it. I think it's very kind and I appreciate it but I don't walk around thinking about it. I mean, it's like a weird thing. I don't know. It's beautiful. Put it that way. It's a beautiful thing.
It's all good. So Lyrica here is asking, do you like reading, Kelly?
Do I like reading?
Media.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a book that you would recommend?
Oh my goodness. I read a lot of kind of spiritual books, but I read Abraham Hicks a lot. I do put a lot of the quotes on my Instagram. But then, I mean, I just find, people recommend books. So Dr. Levry is an interesting guy that I've been following on Instagram. He's written some books. I have a stack over there. I can tell you. I read what friends recommend to me, like novels and things, but I also love sort of books that are,
share it on your Instagram after the show, so the people that want your recommendations are happy to read what you're reading. Okay, is there something that you have dreamt of doing for a long time, and why haven't you done it, if there is something that you haven't?
Okay. Well, there are things I think I want to do. And this is what's been interesting about this COVID lockdown stuff, is you think, God, there's things that I think, if I had the time, I would do that, right? And then you realize when you have the time, you go, no, I don't really want to do that. So it's an interesting thing of, we all think but if we wanted to do it, we'd do it.
Yeah.
I think it's as simple as that. I think if we really, so don't put the pressure on yourself. Because if you wanted to do it, you do it. And it's simple. So if you're not doing it, it's because right now in this moment, that doesn't mean it's going to change. You don't want to do it. Like for one of the things is writing for me, just writing. For me, it's the writing thing. I know I'm supposed to write, and I just kind of.
Wow. So is there a book in the offing then? Maybe
No.
that's the book we'll recommend.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be writing a book, but I'm not writing it. So there you go. I'm just not doing it at the moment. There will
So
be a time.
this is to inspire you. We are waiting for the book.
Huh?
We need to hear it all.
All right. Well, if you have any tips, let me know.
Okay, this is a very, very important question to me because I think I feel like you as far as love and relationships, etc., goes. What do you value the most in a friendship?
Friendship, God, this is so interesting because so many of my friendships are so different, right? They're people I don't talk to that often, and yet we get on the phone and it's like so I would say consistency, or I would say all these things, but the truth is it's not true, right? So I would just think, honesty and love and humor and grace. I think grace.
No expectations.
Huh?
Low expectations.
Yeah, right. Just,
Yeah. So, 2020 has been a real write-off for all of us because we all start with those New Year resolutions and then they've just gone for a toss and we've all been, kind of stagnated for a bit. Is there a vision board 2021 for you?
Is there a what?
Vision board
A
2021.
vision what? I think originally maybe there was, and I think what's happening may be even better because it's really giving us perspective. And 2020 vision, right? It's 2020 vision. So we're seeing a lot. I think it's sort of a time to sit back and instead of always going, achieving, on the same sort of track that we've been on, it's a great opportunity to sit back and go, okay, what's working, what's not working in my life, what do I value, what really doesn't seem as valuable to me anymore, or isn't a necessity in my life. And globally we're seeing a huge reset, right? So things are coming into our awareness that maybe weren't something that we were aware of, and or things that we're aware of. So maybe a lot of people knew what was coming, a lot of people didn't, right? So I think it's going to be a time of patience with each other and realizing that we don't all have the same beliefs, that we don't all we are not all we don't all know what it's like to walk in somebody else's shoes. So that's where I think compassion and love and being really loving and kind and patient with ourselves comes into play, and being open and not so reactionary to everything and everyone, is sort of finding a neutral place. So neutral seems boring, but it's not at all. It's actually the most exciting place to be because you get to watch it all happen without having to be pulled in a million different directions. It's a beautiful place to exist in a more neutral state because you get to watch it all play out.
Yeah.
And in a loving way versus being really pulled and triggered and this and that and the other. And I'm oversimplifying it, but you know what I'm saying. I think it's just there's so many huge changes, and that it's important to keep love in our hearts and allow others to have whatever experience they need to have through this time, and not think we know better or they know better or anything. It's just it's a really beautiful, interesting time where we're really moving into the future at warp speed, I think, And whether it's good or bad, we don't know yet. But, you just have to sit tight and go, okay, all right, some of this I'm sure will be good, and some of it will take a moment. And
yes.
so it is a time that if you've done and if you've been through challenging times, you're going to have a few more tools and maybe in your tool set to deal with it. But yeah, I think it's just love. Again, that's why it's so simple. That's why I talk about it, is it's the most simple thing.
It is. I think your hashtag should be "Love makes my world go round."
It's like the easiest place to go. If you don't know where else to go back to that, because if you can go back to that, then you'll find the answer. It's when everything else gets confusing and too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So should I even ask you your mantra? Because I know that it's definitely related to love, but I still would want to hear Kelly's mantra.
Oh, I just, my mantra is just get up every day and do the best you can do, given that day. Have a day. If that day you need to get up and you're feeling like I need to cry today, I don't even know why, or I'm feeling the weight of the world, or I'm, feeling this, whatever. Just, so much of it is our resistance to allowing what is, allowing what we're feeling, because somewhere along the line we were told it wasn't okay to feel that way, but we wouldn't have been given all these emotions. We wouldn't be given this it's really like a navigation system that we've been given, our emotional system. That's what it is. So it's for us to listen to and say, it guides us. What thoughts am I thinking? Maybe that's why I'm feeling this way. Maybe I need to adjust the thoughts that I'm thinking, kind of reprogram the narrative that I've created, that some of it's real and some of it's not. Some of it I've been told, some of it is stuff that I've taken on that's not even mine, So, to sort of recreate your own narrative based on a new beliefs and new ideas of where you're going is super important, to reprogram that subconscious mind. And this is all linked into having a day, because if we're aware of the thoughts we're thinking and we're connected to the emotion and we sit with it, answers come, they do. And we work through things and we have a better understanding of ourselves, so that we can be in that more neutral place to and not react so much, and be bounced around by other people and their beliefs and their emotions that maybe they aren't aware of. So big long-winded answer for what's my motto.
When you speak, in fact, my son says that you both should start a podcast together. I think you speak from the heart. You just speak straight from the heart. There is a young girl who wants a little advice from you, so I'm going to address her question to you. Neha asks, a firm believer of reflecting on personal experiences, relationships, and trying to understand that everyone has a different life path. Sometimes it gets hard to zoom out and get that perspective. Any advice, suggestions on how to be more mindful when we connect with others?
When I was growing up, I was super empathic. Like, I took on everyone's energy, right? And I felt everyone's energy and stuff. So if you're that kind of person, and you're a young person especially, it's learning to create space for yourself and go back in and let go of what's not yours, and to say that we are each on our own path, and we each come in with our own coding for this life. Each of us, not one of us is the same. Not one of us is. So we can't expect to understand what everyone's going, we can only have compassion. And it's easy to get it when you get caught up, which we all do. I go on Instagram and I'm there for like hours and I go, oh my God, I'm like I'm worse than any teenager I know. Okay. So I have to say, okay, as an adult, step away, Step away, put on some nice music, go within, we need to step away sometimes and go within and write about what we want, write about the people write about what we want our world to look like. Because if each individual spent more time writing about what they wanted, truly wanted, and what they wanted the world to look like, how they wanted to feel. Like, how do I want to feel? If you're feeling anxiety, which Lord knows I've had a lot of anxiety through different times in my life where I didn't think I was going to be able to get up and function, like anxiety.
Yeah.
So but what happens is step by step, when you just start focusing on the good, like honestly, anything you can find that's good. I know sometimes there are days that it's tough to even find one thing, but for me, it's like, if I can just get up and have my coffee, like, that's so amazing, right? I love it. It's like, I love it. The rest of the day, and my kids know, the rest of the day is about everyone else. Like, whatever. You find your joys, like find it's a discovery. It's not like you wake up and know these things. It's so nobody, the thing is, it's a discovery. You discover yourself. You discover what you love.
Yeah.
And unless you've taken the time to do that, life is going to be like pulling you every which way, right? And we're not really brought up that way. I mean, some people are, but to it's not, we can call it meditation, but it's really just going within and getting quiet and saying, you know, it's okay just to sit here and breathe. And if tears flow, they flow. If if I get like, where am I? Let my stomach relax. Let the rolls kind of let it relax. I don't have to hold it in right now. Nobody's looking at me. And just let yourself be, and experience whatever's going through your body without attaching a story.
Yeah.
And let it go. Just, and then write about what it is you want. Talk about what you want. And if you're around someone that the energy doesn't feel good, you don't have to judge them. Just listen. Just go, that doesn't feel right for whatever the reason to me. And move on with your day, move on. And what attracts the people that you do want is when you're in alignment with that thing I'm talking about, just getting quiet. And you're writing about what you do want. So what do you want in a relationship? What do you want what do you want to feel? Do you want to feel confident? Do you want to feel secure? Do you want to feel authentic in yourself? And write about what that feels like and what that looks like. And like you said, make a vision board if it helps. You know, we that's the time. That's the time to spend doing that for yourself. That's the self-care, because everything is taking our attention outside of us. And even when I'm on Instagram, choose who you're following, that you feel a connection with, and for me, I use the Instagram as a tool to express things that I love. So again, it's an expression of what I love. Do you see what I'm saying? So if everything you're doing, at least the best of your ability, again, it's always evolving and we're always learning and we're always, just find things that you love, and it'll take you out of the anxiety. And even your parents haven't always found what they love. So have patience with them. Have patience with your parents, because they're figuring it out too. That was one of the greatest things about Gossip Girl, is that the parents were just as messed up as everyone. And it's just normal. Like, okay, we think because we're older, we have it figured out. We're still trying to figure out our relationships. We're still trying to figure out our friendships, how we look in a bikini, believe it or not, and how we feel, and our bodies changing as we get older. And it's like, you think it's just the young people, but it's, we're all, getting older is a lot of acceptance, which is a word that you use that is so beautiful, is acceptance. And I don't even remember what the question was now. I've just gone on and on.
So I wanted to answer.
As usual, I'm just.
I want to answer one of your questions because I asked you, if not Hollywood, then what? I would say motivational speaker. Come on, woman, it's in your face. You should do
But
it.
I just want people, it's like, I think, and maybe it's a mothering instinct. I don't know what it is. I just want people to know they're so beautiful. Like if people knew, if children knew, and maybe we can do more as parents to reflect that in our children, just their beauty. Their beauty. And I don't mean outward, I mean their beauty, like they're as beings, not, I don't mean like, because in every city, in every country, beauty has a different definition. So how could you possibly ever, it's our inner beauty, our light, our radiance, our divinity. It's just like if we see that maybe more in our children and speak it more, you know.
Yeah. So Martina has been with us from the very beginning of the show, and she has a question. So we will address that. What is your advice to those who feel like they want to do something, but they feel demotivated and lazy, and everything is seen as an obstacle to them?
So totally surrender to that first. I would say totally surrender to the laziness, to the and just sit with it. Sit in that for a minute. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Because don't resist it. Like, I think the main thing is just to go, okay, I'm feeling lazy. Some obstacles here. All right. Totally not motivated. And see what happens. You know, like, stop resisting it and get into the creative play of it, okay? Because people are always going to tell you something's not possible, or there's going to be obstacles, or there's going to be this. And so you just, okay, cool, I acknowledge that. Then today I'm going to be lazy, and that's okay. Or today I'm not going to be motivated. And what you find is the more you kind of do that, the more you just let go of it, the more you'll find it, because you're not resisting it. And then again, make lists of things that you love, write about it, visualize it, make that vision board. Don't worry about all of the details of how it's going to happen or how it's going to manifest. Because there's things, honestly, if you just think about what you love and think about what you want all day long. So and do you do that? Have you tried it? Have you tried that? Because it works.
Yeah, it works. So yeah, but
we don't. We're distracted. We're like, no. We're distracted in the lack of it happening, or the stress. So we need to get back in touch with the creative play of it. Okay, I'm gonna try it. It'll be fun. If it doesn't work, okay, and we are here to create. We're creators. Yeah. We're creators, and if we're not creating, we're kind of destroying. So we have to really, you can see what happens on our planet. If we're not in creativity, we tend to go the other direction, where we get destructive. So the main thing is to stay creative, stay linked up with what you want. Like, I wish every therapist would just sit there and say, okay, I know you're having troubles. So what is it that you want? And you'd have to say, okay, we need to ask each other, what is it that you want?
Yeah.
How do you want the world to look for you? If you could have anything, what would it be? Now, doesn't that change the energy?
Yeah.
It totally shifts our perspective. It shifts our energy. So what do you want? And how can we make that? And as parents too, how can we make that possible for you? How can we, in a safe, comfortable environment, so that, you're age appropriate, whatever. Yeah. How can we see your vision happen? I remember when my kids were little and they were like, we want a credit card, because they're like 4 and 5, 4 and 6 at the time. We want a credit card. I was like, okay, cool, let's go get you a credit card, because they see you doing it, right? So it's not, and I'm not going to say no, not until you're 18, you can't have a credit card. They're foreign. Talk about lack of creativity. So I went down to their favorite ice cream shop. We went to the toy store and we got them gift cards. And I said, here are your credit cards. And I got them each a wallet, and we put them in the credit card, the credit cards. And I said, okay, you have, $25 or $50, whatever it was on each. And each time you buy one, the money decreases on your credit card because that's the money you have in there. So we turned it into something kind of fun, where it was like, okay, they could actually see the price of things and they could actually understand that a credit card was attached to an account and money, for their age. So there are ways in which we can support our dreams with each other and our children's dreams. And so much of it is we're so shut down growing up. You have to wait for this. You have to wait for that. You can't do this. You can't do that. And we find reasons why. So shift it. What do you want? How can we make that possible? What can we do? It's a lot of, we're probably running out of time because I'm just talking.
No, so good. People are saying you should not leave. That's why I'm just kind of putting that.
But no, we're probably time's up. But that's it. It's just what if. Have fun with it. Have fun with it, and don't worry about all the details of how it's going to work out. Every woman I know that started a business did not know all the details of how she was going to do the business. She did not know. There were things that would come up that she had no idea about, and unexpected things. So we don't know everything. And we're not supposed to. We're supposed to figure it out as we go. We're creative beings.
Yeah.
And when we're not being creative and having fun, we can feel it through our bodies,
Yeah. So, you actually said, which I know you would say again, because I want you to, I know you're dying for your kappa. You've woken up early in the morning to be here. I love your chic hairstyle. You've inspired so many people. In fact, my son and daughter are giving you a very special thank you. Shalini's been writing some amazing stuff, talking about Ikigai. They're all having a chat here. Alison is here also saying thank you. So wonderful people have joined in to tell you you've been such an inspiration. But there are a lot of women who had to go through a lot of stuff. And because I work with women, I have to ask this question, who are going through a lot of stuff because of the COVID times. They've had a tough time, in circumstances. A lot of them might need to do a midlife reboot. Is there a piece of advice that you would like to leave them with before we call it a day?
What do you mean by midlife
I think people have had, issues at home with being locked down with their husbands, and now they're feeling that they've done nothing in their lives and they need to go and find themselves because clearly things are not looking right now. So it's been a reality check for a lot of people, I think.
Well, I'll tell you what. I walked away from Gossip Girl with nothing. Zero. I actually owed money because of my divorce, okay? So I had a huge reset in my life, okay? So it's okay. I'm still here. I'm still here. We're having a conversation. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Let it happen. Let it go. You just, whatever needs to be let go. What are you going to do? Like you said, acceptance, I so feel for these women and men or whoever's going through these times right now. Really, I feel it right now just talking to you through my body. But I want you to know that you get through it. I'm going to cry because it's so true. You get through it. And I feel you, and it seems so tough at the time, but just keep love in your heart. Appreciate what you can appreciate each day. Find those little things that get you through and know that you'll get through it. Breathe through it. Love your husband or your ex-husband through it, no matter what he's doing, or love your ex-wife or your ex, no matter what she's doing. Try to just go, okay, I'm going to find the love somehow here. I'm going to find something to appreciate about this situation, no matter how hard. And the same with your kids, or if that's what you're talking about. And even financial things, financial things. Look, we're so attached to our stuff. And as long as you can eat and you have a roof over your head and you have love in your heart and you have a few good friends, and your health and your family's health, it's the most important thing. It really is. All the other stuff is just fun. Your earth plane stuff. We can't take it with us, We've realized in COVID, we don't even have any place to wear it to. Think about it. You got a closet for you. There's no place, no one to show it off to in COVID. Like, unless you have some fabulous blog, you have an Instagram, like, okay, here's my outfit of the day. I'm not leaving the house. Like what, so I think it's showing us something, isn't it? That like, what's important?
Yeah.
What's important, yeah, there was I didn't even have money for a cup of coffee.
Wow.
There was a day that I woke up and thought, I was like, Mom, I need to, you gotta like, so don't worry, it's okay. Like, you survive somehow, some way. And the more we shift our attitude, and that's what I realized is I had, of course I had pity parties and I was so at the the injustice of the world or this or that, right? We can say the same right now. So many people are going through so much right now, and it's like, whoa, it's so heavy, and the thing is to hold space, to hold love, to hold light, that for all of us, every day I'm like, bless us all when we hear things, and it's true. It's love. That's why I come back to, I know, have your pity party, feel sorry for yourself, because you have a right to, we all have a right to sometimes say, okay, but also look at what is good. Look around and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to make my list today to get through today of what I'm thankful for. Because there's a lot to be thankful for, even when you feel like things are at their worst. We got skills. We do. We got skills.
We got them.
We do. You realize, And
this has been by far the most inspirational show. And if you were to later watch all the comments, and if you have the opportunity to respond to a few of my friends out there, please do, because just touching their lives will make such a difference. And they're all watching, and they just needed to hear this right now, Kelly.
Yeah. Well, you're so beautiful. You're just such a wonderful human. And I'm just so thankful to have met you. And thank you for having me do this. And I'm so happy I met you.
I'm blessed, and I'm hoping that I can do my movie with you, because I don't see beyond you. So I wish it is you. I am going to read my daughter's message, because I think it makes me very proud to have children that I do. She says, happy to declare our parents brought us up with all this love and acceptance. Thank you for showing us all the intricacies of parenting in such a short time. So they thank you for that. It's been truly, you're just something else, Kelly. You're just something else.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm telling you, motivational speaker, please do that.
Maybe one day. One day.
Absolutely. Thanks again. And you can go to your camera, and thank you all for watching. And all I can say is, when you see a woman like that, I always say she believed she could, so she did. And she does. And love makes her world go round. Thank you, Kelly.
Beautiful. I love you.
I love you.
See you soon. Okay.
Keep watching ShaliniSays. Bye.